Fellow Conservatives, on August the 17th, a female prison governor was called to the segregation unit to deal with a situation that was getting out of hand. An offender serving 10 years for GBH and wounding with intent was told that he was not being moved out of segregation. The prisoner reacted violently, punching the woman in the face. It took 4 prison officers to restrain the attacker. The governor suffered severe bruising. She had to be taken to hospital, and the other officers were all injured. The next day, she was back in work. That is just one story of everyday life for our prison staff, and what people they are. I came into politics because I care about our public services. I want to change things, and I want to reform the way our country works for the better. I'm proud to be appointed Justice Secretary, in charge of the most far-reaching reforms of our prisons for a generation. And I'm proud to be part of Theresa May's team, delivering on a society that works for everyone. Fellow Conservatives, this government is going to take on the problem of Britain's prisons, and we are going to make prisons work. Can there be a place where the values of modern conservatism are needed more? Our hard-headed conservative belief that crime mustn't pay, our determination to take on those who say nothing can ever change, our optimism that helps us see that a better future is possible. We are the party for this moment, and I ask you, join with me as champions of change. Prisons need to be places of reform. The facts speak for themselves. Almost half of prisoners will reoffend within the first 12 months of release. This cycle of prison, release, reoffending, and prison again is costing taxpayers £15 billion every year. That's the equivalent of £1.7 million for every single hour of every day. The human cost is higher still. Your home burgled to feed a junkie's habit. Your phone ripped from your hand as you walk down the street. Assaulted for simply being in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's what being a victim of crime means. That's why this party says we want fewer victims, we want less crime, we're going to cut reoffending. I'm not starry-eyed about prisons or the people in them. I don't excuse the crimes prisoners have committed, and they must pay their debt to society. But we need to face facts. In all but a few cases, everyone we lock up will one day have served their time and be back in our communities. So would we rather offenders squandered their days in jail or use them instead on purposeful activity? I'm under no illusion about the scale of the challenge or the time it will take to deliver reform. Prisoners are often the most damaging people in our society, but they are also often the most damaged. More than half can't read or write to a basic standard. Half have mental health problems, and nearly 2/3 of women offenders are victims of abuse. Reform is the only way that we can break the cycle, to cut the cost to society, and to spare more people the misery of being a victim of crime. I know that most people are capable of reform. I know that prisons can help reform them. We don't need to be fatalists. I believe that we can do something, and I know that this party does too. To help me in this task, I'm pleased to have Minister Sam Gyimah, who's done so much to turn around our schools, and Dr. Philip Lee, whose experience in mental health, youth offending, and drug issues will be vital. My team also includes my fantastic PPS, Rob Jenrick, and the excellent Guy Opperman as our whip. So here's what we're going to do to reform our prisons, building on the great work of my predecessor, Michael Gove. We are going to invest $1.3 billion in sweeping away our decaying Victorian jails and putting in place new modern prisons. We're going to give governors greater control over their budgets to bring in education and employment schemes that deliver real results. Officers will be given the authority they deserve and the resources they need to do their jobs. And every prisoner will have a dedicated officer to support them as they quit drugs, get back to learning, and break the cycle of reoffending. In the coming weeks, I will be launching my vision for prison reform to 2020 and beyond. The white paper will be the biggest blueprint for the overhaul of our prisons in a generation, and we will legislate for these reforms early next year. We are going to make sure that offenders come out of prison better able to work, better able to support their families, and ready to turn their lives around. We are going to make prisons work. Real reform needs our prisons to be places of safety. Like our soldiers, our prison officers, and our firefighters, our staff work on the front line protecting the public every day. All too often, they suffer abuse, intimidation, and violence, fueled by the rise in dangerous new psychoactive substances. In the last year, there were 5,423 attacks on prison officers. That's almost 15 every day. So I say to prison staff, you do a vital job, keeping our streets safe, supporting and reforming offenders. And I promise you this, I will do everything in my power to protect you. We have made a start. We've introduced new laws and rolled out tests to crack down on psychoactive drugs like Spice and Mamba. I've given the staff the extra authority to tackle gangs and extremists in our jail. And I'm working with Home Secretary Amber Rudd and Attorney General Jeremy Wright to make sure assaults against prison staff are punished to the full extent of the law. We will treat attacks on prison officers for what they are, serious crimes. We'll go further. Officers tell me that their numbers are stretched too thin, that without more frontline staff who are better deployed, they cannot deliver prisons that are places of safety and reform. They've told me this, and I have listened. So I can announce today that we will be giving more staff more time to directly supervise offenders. This one-to-one support, which will be rolled out in every prison, is vital to bringing down levels of violence and reforming offenders. And I will take immediate action to support governors and staff in our 10 most challenging prisons, from Exeter and Leeds to Nottingham and Liverpool. We'll be investing £14 million to provide more than 400 extra staff in prisons that have seen sharp rises in violence in recent years. This investment will strengthen the front line. It will help us win the battle against drugs, gangs, and violence that is standing in the way of real prison reform. This transformation will take time for our brave prison staff and our dedicated probation officers. But we need to stay the course. Together, we can make change happen. And I have one more thing to add on our prison programme. This country is fortunate that we can draw on another disciplined and courageous group, our armed forces. Today I can announce a new Ministry of Justice programme to increase the number of former armed service personnel becoming prison officers. Who better to instill the virtues of discipline? Who better to show what you can achieve in life with courage and integrity? They will help our prison officers lead the change. Safety on our streets and safety in our jails, that's the policy of this government. Fellow Conservatives, I'm proud to be addressing you for the first time as Lord Chancellor. The fundamentals of our nation depend on the rule of law. It's our safeguard against extremism, oppression, and dictatorship. It's the basis of our prosperity, which is sustained by secure contracts and free trade. It's the fabric of our free society, the order, the stability, the equality, the individual freedom that we all love and respect. We have inherited the finest legal tradition in the world, from our dedicated magistrates to our judges who are rightly celebrated for their independence, from our barristers and solicitors who have a global reputation that is second to none, to everyone who works in a legal services industry that contributes £25 billion annually to the British economy. And I'm delighted to be working with Minister Sir Oliver Heald, an experienced legal reformer, and Lord Keane, an outstanding advocate. Together with the Lord Chief Justice, Lord Thomas, we will modernise our justice system so we can truly say, here are world-leading courts. Here is a justice system that is incorruptible, swift and sure. Here is a justice system that works for everyone. Here is British justice, the best in the world. This government is investing £1 billion in a more modern and open justice system. This means that all vulnerable victims and witnesses will have their cross-examination pre-recorded before trial. I believe that no child who has shown the incredible bravery of coming forward should ever have to relive terrible experiences in an intimidating open court. Further reforms will deliver a justice system that is efficient, just, and straightforward, with far less paperwork. But a modern justice system is not just reflected in its practices and processes, but also in its people. Currently, only 1 in 7 QCs and 1 in 3 partners in law firms are women. Fewer than 1 in 10 judges come from ethnic minorities, and only a quarter went to state school. This is modern global Britain. We can do better than that. We need to open up our legal system so it draws on all the talents in our society. The Prime Minister has outlined her vision for a country where merit matters more than background. If we are to transform this great nation into a great meritocracy, the legal profession and our judiciary should be leading the field. The Supreme Court is a vital part of our Constitution, and I cherish its independence. But can it be right that out of 12 judges in the Supreme Court, only 1 is a woman, and not a single one is from an ethnic minority? This would be difficult to justify in a boardroom or around the cabinet table. So we'll be working to break down barriers to make sure people from all backgrounds can rise through the profession and that merit wins out. We're going to open up the justice system. We're going to have a justice system of all the talents. We're going to have a justice system that works for everyone. Our justice system is based on human rights. Despite what Labour thinks, human rights were not invented in 1998. From Magna Carta to the Bill of Rights to habeas corpus, for more than 1,000 years, this country has led the world on protecting individual freedoms. Our proposals on a British Bill of Rights will be the next step forward, building on our ancient liberties of democracy, the rule of law, and trial by jury. I'm immensely proud to be given the responsibility to uphold the rule of law, to make sure that our legal system continues to be the envy of the world, and to champion English law across the globe. For centuries, we've led the world with a judiciary that is independent, impartial, and incorruptible. As we chart a course to a new global Britain, these fundamental rights and ancient liberties will remain at the heart of everything we do. In a modern global Britain, we cannot accept a prison system that fails society and allows offenders to fester. We cannot accept courts that are slowed down by inefficiencies or hardened to the needs of victims. We cannot accept a justice system that does not reflect the best Britain has to offer. So we will transform our prisons into places of safety and reform. We will modernize our courts and open up the legal profession. We will continue to lead the world in the fundamental freedoms that have shaped our great nation. Safety on our streets, reform in our prisons, liberty under the law, justice for all, a country that works for everyone. Thank you. Thank you very much.